Okay, hi guys, welcome to the videos, and here are 15 made-up words that should be real words, and not all of them are really made up. Most of them are made up by me, but anyway, getting on with the video. Okay, so these first 4 words aren't really words. They're contractions. So the first word is not of, and I know that's a contraction, and that may seem weird that I'm including it in the list, but a contraction is really just 2 words combined. So, and like I have said not of before, and one other time I remember I've also heard someone say not of, and yeah, I just think this should be a contraction. Next up is number 2. I don't really need to explain this, and that's couldn't have, which just makes sense. And also, instead of saying couldn't have, at sometimes you could also say could not have, and then 3 and 4 are wouldn't have and shouldn't have. So, and then these next 4 are words, but each one of them is just like 2 words that I decided to have combined into one. So number 5 is tennis shoes, and sure, there is the term like tennis shoes, 2 separate words that describes the shoes that you typically wear on your feet, like these. Yeah, but when you say tennis shoes, you don't say tennis shoes, you say tennis shoes, like it's all just one word. And so yeah, there is 5. And next up is 6 and 7, which are high school and each other. Now, I know the words high and school go together to describe a high school that is like above middle school and before college, but it's the same thing with the word tennis shoes. Like when you say high school, you don't say high school, you say high school. Like it's all one word. And in the word high school, you also pronounce it differently from high school. So, and then 7, which is, but anyway, then is 7, which is each other, and it's just like high school and tennis shoes. You don't say each other when it's in a sentence. You say each other, like that. And then number 8 is like the previous 3. It's 2 words combined again. It's in front. Now, in front, that may seem like a little strange to include in this video. That seems a little bit out there, but like the word in, when you go like into something, you enter it. And when you say in front, you're not like saying in front. Like if a student is in front of someone else, they're not in the front of them, they're forward from them. And also, when you say behind, like this person, like pretend there's one right here, behind another person. Behind is one word, and when you say behind, when you say in front, it kind of sounds like you're saying behind, but just instead of saying be, you say in, and instead of saying hind, you say front. So I think that makes sense. And next up, number 9. One time, like, I was in the cafeteria, like, getting to my seat to eat my food, and all of a sudden, I just came up with this word, and that word is yair. So say we have 2 people. This is person R, and this is person Q. Now Q says to R, hey, there's a trash can over there. Like when he said, and then like when he says, Q says there, he's talking about like out there, like outside where they are. But when he says, hey, look over here, there's a refrigerator, the refrigerator is by him, but for the word yair, the definition that I came up with is if Q said over, hey, there's something over yair, he's basically saying, hey, there's something over by you. And you know, the word you starts with a Y, just like yair does, so that's why I had it start with that letter. And so yeah, when you say, hey, it's over there, you're saying, hey, it's over by you. And then next up is number 10, which is pop tab. Now, I don't have a soda can with me. Just pretend I have one. You know that like thing on top of the soda can that you like put your pointer finger underneath, or like your thumb, I don't know, and you like lift it up and it bursts a hole open in the top, so then you can drink out of it. Well, what is that thing, like that thing called? Like, well, and that's where I came up with the word pop tab. And so obviously it's I thought, so when I was coming up with the word, I thought like, hey, that's kind of like a tab, that thing on top of the pop can, or this soda can. Yeah, and, so, but I didn't just want it to call it a tab, like there are other types of tabs, like folder tabs, or computer tabs, so I wanted to have it have its own unique name for that object. And so I added a BLE to the end to make it tabble, but then I thought of it, and that sounded kind of a little childish, the word tabble. So eventually I just switched to pop tab. Now, I could have also had the word soda tab on the list, because like some Americans call it pop and others call it soda, but soda tab doesn't really sound as fun as pop tab, and also I think it might just be too much to have two words for that object. And you know, the funny thing is that here in Minnesota, like, we usually say pop, but pop, I don't say pop, I say soda, because like a couple of years back, like, I just thought pop like sounded kind of strange, so I started saying soda, but it doesn't sound that weird. So, but anyway, next up is number 11, which is cuz, and that's pretty self-explanatory, or whatever. I don't know what self-explanatory means, actually, but like, this just makes sense, because like most of the time, instead of saying the word because, I just say cuz. And also, besides that, it just makes sense to have this word. Like, take this sentence for example. I went to Target because Walmart was closed. You went to Target because Walmart was closed. And in the word because, if you take off the BE from the front, you get the word cause. And in the sentence, like, you went to Target because Walmart was closed, Walmart being closed is the cause for you going to Target. So I just think it makes sense having this word as an alternative to because. And next up, number 12 is front ground. Now in an image, like for the sky, like if you see a sky and all the clouds and the sun, or a building like far back or mountains, you would call that the background. But for everything that's not in the back, it would be closer up to the front, and you would call that the foreground. Now, I'm definitely not saying we should remove the word foreground. I just want this to be an alternative to the word foreground, because, when I say back, and when I ask you, what's the opposite of the word back? You would probably say front. You probably wouldn't say that the opposite of back is for. The opposite of back, you would say, is front. So I think we should have the word front ground to go along with the word background. Next is number 13, and this word is what a lot of you would agree with, and that word is obviously a lot. And I think a lot should just be its own separate word, because when you say another, you don't say then another. You say another like it's one word. I think it should be like the same thing for a lot. And in the past, when earlier, in middle school, in English class, when I would write and then I would make a space and then say lot, it just felt kinda wrong to put a space between and lot. And one time I looked at a website and it said that a lot is the most commonly misspelled word in English. So Yeah, we should probably make a lot its own word. And okay, so next up, 14, the second to last, which is unsmart. Now, sure, we do have words like stupid, and we do have words like dumb, but if I just said to someone, hey, you're stupid, like, that's just mean. Like, I can't just say that. And same thing with dumb, although dumb, I would say, is not as harsh. But if I said, you're dumb, I definitely feel like they're, when I say you're dumb, that's kind of also a little mean. You could also alternatively say, hey, you're unintelligent. And, no wait, that kind of had a tone to it. You seem to be unintelligent. There, like that. But, like, unintelligent, that's kind of a big word. I don't see, like, a 5-year-old or, like, saying unintelligent and and now that I think of, and yeah, same with, like, maybe even a 6 or 7-year-old. But yeah, so unsmart, I think unsmart is just a good alternative. Like, unsmart, like, I could, like, maybe hear younger kids saying unsmart. Now, obviously, they shouldn't be using it, like, negatively, but but it sounds like something I could hear them saying, but obviously in a way that's not mean. Maybe. But anyway, lastly, we have number 15, which is kind of a weird one. And that word that is a word I made up, and that word is re-ravel. Now we have the word unravel, so for me it just makes sense to have the word re-ravel. But, like, you unravel, like, a ball of yarn, but then you re-ravel it, like, you get it all tidied up. But, like, that is kind of weird. No, wait, that's not weird, but there's something else that's weird, and that is the word ravel. And the word ravel is unravel, but without the un. And according to the dictionary, ravel and unravel are synonyms, And, that's kind of, unsmart. Now, the people who made it like that made unravel and ravel mean the same thing. I wouldn't say they messed up because unravel is kind of an intensified version of ravel, and with both unravel and ravel, you're kind of doing the same thing, but unravel is kind of doing it more intensely, and I heard that that's the reason why the word unravel exists, although that might not have been. But anyway, if we were to add the word re-ravel to the dictionary, which I doubt will happen, we would have to change the definition of the word ravel. So, yeah. So, yeah, there is my list of 15 words. Yeah, so that concludes my video. If you enjoyed it, please like. Sorry, that sounded kind of robotic when I said that. And if you dislike it, please don't click the dislike button. And yeah, bye.